looking around. For this particular leopard job, we had 16 people involved. 3 mechanical engineers and animatronic designers, 2 sculptors, 2 painters, 3 hair people that were punching in the hair individually. We learned about the anatomy, so we have to research into that and how the animal moves. And then the sculpture would then be moulded and we'd produce the skins. And then the animatronic, we'd actually build the animatronic, so it's obviously got a lot of metal components and servo motors and other motors that control it. We've got electronics. We had 2 electricians that come in that created our expressions, so that we would have, say, a radio transmitter that the joystick can move up and down, and rather than just moving the eyes up and down, for example, it would move a complete expression. So you'd have angry or coy or any other sort of expression. Taking reference from pictures that we find online, someone would traditionally sculpt this in clay, and then once we got this clay form, we would actually fiberglass over the top of it in a mould. You can see the mould split lines there, so it's taken away from the face, so you don't have too many split lines in the face. But it comes down the side there, round like this. So once we mould it, we can actually pull the fiberglass off, take away the clay, then we're left with like a fiberglass mould, like a jelly mould. If you fill it with anything, you'd have an exact replica of the actual sculpt. We would then lay clay inside at different thicknesses so that we can produce what's called a core. The reason we do it at different thicknesses is because we need to control the thickness of the skin that's going to be pumped inside. You can see here that the skin there is very, very thin, whereas on the mouth corners it's quite thick. And that's because obviously we need the thickness in the mouth corners, so when it roars it doesn't split or tear the skin. But then obviously we need it really thin here so that when it blinks it's not putting the motors under unnecessary strain because it's too thick. If we wanted to get a sniff or a snarl in there like this, we know that we would need a mechanism in here to do that. So what we would do, we'd get a pen or something and scratch through the skin to mark where we want it to move. We would then recreate these markings or this form out of metal. You can see someone's even drawn springs on there to suggest that that could be a cable with springs between each section. So actually when you pull that cable, those 3 what would be metal plates would squeeze together, which is what they do when they pour an expression like a roar. The team here go from me on my own, sitting at the bench on my own, to we've had up to about 30 or 35 people here on different projects. I made a film with a mouse that does bench pressing with a mouse trap, and I designed it in the studio, but then I filmed it in my kitchen at home, and that went viral. I started building stuff at home when I was about 14, 15, making little mechanical things. A few years of messing up my mum's kitchen, I decided that I needed to obviously take it one step further and go to university. I went to the London College of Fashion, did a degree in makeup and hair for the performing arts, and then got onto the Harry Potter films, and that was my first stepping stone into the film business. So with animatronics, you've got the benefit of interaction on camera, you know, with the actors, and it's something that the lighting guys can light, and it really feels like it's there. But then it's very difficult, especially with budget and timing and stuff and deadlines, that for example, if we had to make an animal run across the screen, it would be very, very difficult to do that with animatronics. You'd then look into robotics, and robotics are built over a longer time period. So they do have their limitations, animatronics, and I think that's where CGI then would come in, where we could have sort of a more static model being animatronic, and then when it needs to move from A to B, then it becomes a CGI character. So I think the best use of the 2 disciplines are when they're used together, really. I like the idea that our stuff's in camera. I think it really does add another level to it, and a level of belief. But if someone says that our work's CGI, or they thought it was CGI or real, then that's an absolute compliment all day long.